Are you keeping the fire burning? Natural by law is keeping the fire burning. Go get that drop. The bro went ahead and did that. Love to the bro, man. I mean, when you thirsty, you need that water. When you feel complacent, you need that fire. When you need to be nourished, man, you need the earth, man. You need the land. And when it's time to quam, you're going to need that ether, man. You're going to need that air, man. So we rock with our framer and our shaper, our breath, our air, our ether, our water of security, foundation, vibration. Wow. Hey, how have you been digging in the Sefer Hametz Woe new series? We're going to get all 613. We're going to get all 6 plus 1 plus 3. We're going to get them 10. That might be like a 60-part series or something, man. But it's leading us to this, pagan idol, real specific. I mean, again, did Moshe come down off the mountain with nothing specific about these idols? Or did he just come down with a tablet that said, don't worship no idols and bow down to idols? That's it? Because these people might need to know specifically what you're talking about and how you're talking about it. They were deep into their idol shit, so they gonna need, some deep clarity about these idols. We need deep clarity today. We're just keeping the fire burning. Keeping our foot on the neck bone of this hijack. We're digging on Thoth, man. We're digging on Trigonomegestes. We're digging on Mercury, man. We're connecting it with Muhammad, connecting with Islam like we did, what was it, back in 2017 with the Moor, the Moabite, the Belus. And I always, I felt in my ruach, that this was going to, connect again, you know what I mean? And Caramel just went in, bang, 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 bang. So go get that ammo, man, over there with Caramel, hey, out to the bro. And yeah, so here we go. Now this is just interesting, they came up with the Sefer Hametz Woe, the book of precepts, the book of commandments, and it was talking about idols and throwing stones. And then, oh boy, did it start to connect to Islam into this situation, where stones are still being thrown. And now it's connecting, clear and clear back into this Mercury, man. And no matter what you call him, Zeus, Ra, Thoth, Hermes, Mercury, Jupiter, whatever you call this energy, these energies, whatever it is, man, all one thing. Are they at war with each other like an OWASP, but not really, you know what I mean? When you dig on this Merkulis, you're digging on a superhero. You're dealing on an Islamic superhero. And this presentation is not to, step on nobody's toes. It's just to clarify idols for Israel. If you don't associate with the tribes of Israel, so-called, right? The Ibarus. If you don't associate with the Ame'rican that's in order, rocking with our creator, our frame, our shaper, this ain't for you. You see the fire burning? This is tribal right now. It's tribal all day, every day. But specifically this drop, we digging on this for the tribe. I'm not digging on this to call nobody, what I'm saying, that rocks with this, to call you a hijack. It's not about you. It's not about you. All right, for once, it's not about you. This is for the children. If you ain't here for the children, skip to the next video. Go watch, a documentary or something. You know what I'm saying? This is Tribe Talk. Shalom, Shabbatah. Lawa. So let's dig on it. Now that we got the fire burning. Now that we keep the fire burning. Let's dig on it, man. Let's get into these hijacks, man. Oh boy, what do you see? Oh boy, what do you see, man? They call it a silicon sea beast, man. Silicon sea beast, huh? Like a Leviathan. Ain't you looking at Thoth, Hermes, Trigonomegastes, man? Oh boy, look at him. They even whitewashed Thoth. They even made him white, man. Yeah, buddy. Hey, I don't know if it's this link or another link that one of the tribes sent me, man, and I get linky and this could have came in from anywhere, man, but I appreciate you who sent it in. Ahchwa to Tribe Nation. I know you don't do it for the credit, you do it for the Ahchwa, and I appreciate the Ahchwa for the Ahchwa. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Let's dig on it, man. Because I feel that power, man. I feel that glow, I feel like it's our time. I feel like it's our time, man. Yeah, this is some deep drop. It's some deep drop. Click on the links, man. You dig on it. Mercurial. All right. I don't want to get too deep yet. I just want to show you what we're digging on. How do you slay the dragon? Right? How does Mercury, Hermes, Trigonomegastes, we're talking Merkulis, we're talking throwing stones at Merkulis that's still going on today in these religion, right? And again, it's not to hurt anybody's feelings who's connected to these religions or whose family's connected to no religion. This is tribe talk. Right now, we don't really give a doggone about nobody's feelings. And I am talking dogs. I am talking dogs. I am talking the attributes of dogs and birds. Real talk. This is tribe talk. You know what I'm saying? So, if I can get this to all my tribe, another way I would do it. But I'm using YouTube to holler at the tribe, and everybody else sit in the back seat for a second, hollering at my tribe for a minute. We're talking dogs, man. How is the dog now looking all peaceful, standing in front of the Sphinx? You see the Sphinx back there? Is it a lion or is it a dog? Is it some type of lion with a human face, or is it really Anubis with his head cut off? It's a dog. Dogs, jackals, tempter, Mercury. You see Mercury with the beak. You seen Thoth with his beak. You see Thoth as a dog. Sinus of Phallus. He would also be called Christ with his emerald tablet. And he's slaying the dragon. Who's the dragon? Oh, the alchemical dragon. The alchemical dragon represents the philosophical quicksilver. So we're gonna talk about philosophical. You're gonna see a little bit of the philosopher's stone drop. We're digging on alchemy. This is the route we're taking. We're choosing to take to carve through this hijack, this particular swipe. You know what I mean? It's just a hop to the creator, man. You know what I mean? How this is truly flowing out, truly connecting. I'm witnessing it with y'all, so don't think y'all the only ones. I am witnessing it with y'all. I am feeling it with you. Like, wow, it's all happening. But it's all happening for the good for us. You know what I mean? It's all good because they're slaying the dragon, right? That's what they've been doing. And now with the awareness, with the vibration awareness, it counteracts these spells, man, like tenfold. It's hard to slay the dragon with awareness, with the energy of awareness, unification, unified awareness to hijack slaying. When you're aware of the hijack, when you're aware, it's very hard for you to be asleep. And if you're not asleep, it's very hard for you to be under a spell. The alchemical dragon represents the philosophical quicksilver, unlike ordinary Mercury. The dragon is not like Mercury whatsoever. The the true dragon is unlike Mercury, unlike Mercury, unlike Mercury. They got to go to the philosophicals to try to describe it. The philosophical quicksilver. They say them dog head werewolves got hit with silver bullets, right? Love to drop nation. I mean, this is y'all dropping this all throughout the comments. Silver bullet stops this dog, right? Stops the dog in his tracks, right? Stops the dog-headed man. They're showing you his attributes. You're talking shapeshifter. Of course, you're talking thought, man. You're talking incarnation after carnation after carnation. You're talking the astral projections. All the way up into the point of getting to the greater light. When he gets chased away by the dragons. Love to natural. Talking about them archons. Natural slaying over there. Slaying the hijack. Unlike Mercury. Philosophical quicksilver is a mysterious substance of unknown origin. Roll with me now. So they're slaying the dragon. They're slaying the mysterious substance of unknown origin. From this quicksilver, the living spirit can be extracted. They're slaying the dragon. They're slaying, who's the dragon? Who got the real elements? Who's the natural by law, right? Who got the real elements? In order for him to burst into his version of duality consciousness, he must slay true reality, right? He must slay the unknown substance to extract the life, the living spirit, the breath, to create a duality. Ran by dog-headed men and women and bird heads. He's extracting the life force from the dragon. Without the dragon, he can't work, right? Without the Platonic solids, he can't work. He must hijack the Platonic solids. We're just talking cubes, because we could talk Platonic solids and cubes, right? Let's just do it right quick. Platonic solids, cube, meaning, all right. Let's go to Wiki then. It's all good. And they're getting, I just need some basic tonic solid, meaning ether, fire, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So the Greeks taught that these were five solids, that these five solids were the core patterns of physical creation. Thoth created a duality using the same five solids, right? But let's see what he kind of might have focused on more. Let's see, because could he hijack all of them? I mean, I don't know the rules. Man. Four of the solids were seen as the archetypal patterns behind the four elements: earth, air, fire, water, while the fifth was held to be the pattern behind the life force itself, the Greeks' ether. So four, natural's just talking about them archons. We're talking about the archetypal patterns behind the four elements: air, earth, fire, water. Four of the solids are the patterns behind these elements. And then there's a fifth that's held to be the pattern behind the life force itself. Okay. There we go. So the tetrahedron, the pyramid type of joint. All right. The first of the Platonic solids, the tetrahedron having four triangular sides, symbolizing fire. All right. I'll do it quickly. The cube or the hexahedron, earth. That's what I was looking for, but let's see the other ones. Octahedron, air. Dodecahedron. This is the one they said you shouldn't even mention it. Now it don't even say. So maybe this is the one. Because isosahedron is water. So you got the elements. This one right here, they said symbolizes life force itself. So it's supposed to be so sacred. You're not even supposed to mention it. 12 pentagonal sides, like the 12 tribes. The framework for the descending subtle energies of spirit. This suggests a time in which the divine forces must lead the way, whether the understanding is there or not. Ain't we in this time right now? 12 tribes. This suggests a time in which the divine forces, we're talking framer and shaper, we're talking the energy that is within you, must lead the way, whether the understanding is there or not. At some point, you need to surf the way. And back to this cube, because we're going to be talking about this cube, and it represents Earth. So who had to hijack Earth? You're invading Earth, right? It's a frequency war right here. They're not trying to invade the air. I mean, they're invading the air with the purpose of invading Earth. You know what I'm saying? The purpose is not to invade the air. But they do chemtrail and invade the air in order to invade the Earth. You know what I'm saying? This is what they want. They want this Earth, right? That's why they hijacked the cube. That's why this Saturn business or this Mercury cube business or Islam cube, Kabbalah business, pagan situation, throwing stones at Merkulis, Mercury. He's hijacking Earth. He's hijacking Earth. He's hijacking the air to hijack Earth. He's hijacking fire to hijack Earth. I mean, look, man. He's hijacking the fire to extract the living spirit. From this quicksilver, the living spirit can be extracted while the dragon does not represent this living spirit. And we always say, how can it not represent the living spirit? Because it is the vessel in which the spirit is contained. Of course it represents this living spirit, Hijack City. It is the vessel in which the living spirit is contained. Of course it represents the living spirit. The dragon is the vessel in which the living spirit is contained. This is how they burst into consciousness. Bursting. See, he's bursting. He's bursting into consciousness. He's getting the living spirit extracted, the ruach. He's hijacking all the energy, frequency, the flow, the vessel in which the living spirit is contained. Now, when you say dragon, this is all, representing something, right? So we're not just saying reptile looking dragons and that's what it is. I'm saying the dragon is the fire. The dragon is the Platonic silence, the Dungeons and Dragons, left to the temple. The dragon is the fire, man. I'm not just talking about a reptile, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional situation. We're talking fire, earth, air. We're talking water. And we're talking this mysterious symbol here, right? That represents these 12 sides or 12 tribes. This suggests the time in which the divine forces must lead the way, whether the understanding is there or not. Surf the way. So the alchemical dragon is being extracted. They're slaying the dragon. Thoth is slaying the dragon. Thoth is slaying the dragon. By what? Khandrop. The coming together of opposites can slay the alchemical dragon, commonly written as the mercurial dragon. See, I read this a lot of times and I'm just now kind of getting that what they're saying is commonly written as the mercurial dragon is the khandrop. Coming together of opposites is the mercurial dragon. The mercurial dragon is the khandrop. The coming together of opposites, what does Thoth do? He creates duality, an opposite world, opposite people. They have a whole slogan, opposites attract, right? The coming together of opposites can slay the alchemical dragon. It doesn't necessarily happen 100% of the time, but it can slay the alchemical dragon. So they create something called the mercurial dragon, or the khandrop, or Cadmus, embodies the fixing property of sulfur. Love to natural by law, man. Go get that drop. Dog-headedness, cynocephalus. The dragon slayer is Cadmus, or the mercurial dragon, or just Mercury, man. Just Mercury. Good old Mercury. Both the moisture and the sulfur must be removed to stop the process represented by the dragon. And we said, what does it mean? Both the moisture and the sulfur must be removed to stop the process represented by the dragon. So cadmium embodies the fixing properties of sulfur. And this is what we're talking about, Mercury. So we're going to come back to this because, it gets even deeper. And you got the link you can dig on. It keeps bringing up this vitriol, which, connects what they are digging on with these particular ingredients. The salt, the sulfur, cockatrice. All right, you got mercury, you got this whole situation. Oil and wine, wheat, barley, bread. All right, you got the whole drop. So you got the salt, the sulfur, mercury. This is their trinity of, creating. This salt is sulfur is representing by the masculine. They said this salt is the feminine. Mercury is the androgyny, or the child. Some call it the child. Father, son, father, mother, child. He will be the child or the Christ child, the Christ. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm going to leave this for you. You can dig on it. Look at this, man. Look at the dragons, man. Come on, man. I can't make this stuff up. We're talking about slaying the dragons. How to slay the dragon. Creation of opposites. Mercuris, mercurial, merculis. Then, of course, you got what they doing. The alchemical serpent, which is the dog. Serpents often represent the impersonal nature of the unconsciousness as it bursts into consciousness, especially mythology and dreaming when the act of conscientio, creation of opposites, or the mercurial dragon, the bringing together of opposites occurs. The serpent is frequently part of the symbolism. This is especially true when representing androgyny. When representing androgyny. What does Mercury represent again? Androgyny. I'm just surfing the wave, man. What does it mean? Oh, like the Baphomet situation, right? Partly male, partly female in appearance, indeterminable sex. Now, hermaphrodite, man. A hermaphrodite is connected to Hermes. Oh, man, it's getting too good to us, man. Shout out to Drive Nation sending these links, man. This is beautiful, man. This is beautiful. Androgyny. So now we can see all these code words coming out. We breaking they shit way down. Oh my God. We talking about Hermes, man. Hermaphrodite, man. That's why you got all these gay ass Greeks and gay ass Romans and gay ass folks walking around in Egypt and all this shit. Hermes, man. They could be gay all day. Hermes, man. When you dig back in the OSP, like I said, we about to come get it. We about to come get some, man. Love to come fresh for just keeping it alive, man. We about to come get some, man. And, you know what I'm saying? We hungry, man. We eating. You know what I mean? Like Nat said, man, you know what I mean? We stay hungry around here, man. You know what I mean? We just want meal after meal after meal because it's just like it's too good. It tastes too good. It feels too good. You know what I mean? The energy of what we're eating, what's coming out of it, and what we see as the fruit of our labor, it feels too good. And it's so beautiful to witness aloud. What? Yeah, man. Hermaphrodite. Hermes. Androgynous. Hermes. Androgynous. Hermes. Part male and female. Alright, look up Baphomet. You dig on it. We done did it too many times. Go back to our series in 2017, the Moor, the Moabite, Baphomet, the Belus, all that stuff, because we went into the Baphomet, connected the Baphomet with Muhammad. Yeah, you dig. You dig on it. Just type in Baphomet and Muhammad. Spell it with the T at the end, Muhammad. Baphomet. You're just digging on Mercury when you talk these roots, especially these, clearly, clear roots, just clear roots to the same Atlantean hijack. Thoth. This is what you've been at war against with the Atlantean versus, the children of Mu, the Muans. This is what they were fighting against. Thoth and them. This is what you're fighting against. Thoth and them. They created a Christ consciousness grid, right? Ain't that what spirit science said? They created a Christ consciousness grid. I'm just talking about Mr. Androgynous. I'm just talking about Mr. Androgyny. Mercury. Oh, man. Salt, sulfur, mercury. This is their, secret orders, man. This is their orders, man. The Hegelian dialect, you dig on it, man. You go for it, man, because you're going to find all this Thothism. It's all about thought. See, we don't got no deal with thought. We're talking about the what? Baphomet. Uh-oh. You see, read it. Muhammad. See, we done slayed the Isus, New Testimony, excellent new tune. We done chop suey, Zeus coming at us like that, so we gotta chop suey this Mercury for our brothers and sisters that are battling this. We're helping our brothers and sisters, get awareness, with this whole Christian hijack, new tune-up, hijack that's invaded our land here. We also got to pay attention to this Mercury hijack that's invaded our land here. And then, once you know how to battle those hijacks, you can pretty much handle the rest, with the same Excalibur sword, they want to have control over the sword, right? But they're male and female, all right? They're the Isu that you dig on in the Oaspi. So yeah, you can break down Yeshua into Isu all day long. You're gonna go back to these androgynous situations in the Oaspi. Oaspi, they clearly are male and female. Now I see clearly who their Isus are. Then they have their faithists and different things, but not all these Isus are supposed to be pure water. They're androgynous. This is Thothism. This is Mercuryism. This is Hijack City. This is fallen angel seed. Androgynous fallen angel seed. And they're slaying your alchemical dragon with androgyny. Man, Is it play? I said, is it play? Who's the serpent? Is the serpent the dragon? Because last time that I checked, from this quicksilver, the living spirit can be extracted. The dragon is the vessel in which the spirit is contained. These dragons represent the divine water and power. In the physical sense, the process of vaporization, the universal ruach spirit is in the blood of that dragon. The spirit is in the blood of that dragon. The ruach, they're taking the energy of the Naga ruach, man. Christmas, Halloween, they taking your ruach all kinds of ways by making you witness. It's magic. They're stealing your spirit. They're stealing your soul. You're signing deals in music. The most powerful of us are signing our deals and our souls into captivity. We're giving it up for what? For what, man? They're extracting our living spirit, man. Look at these religions. Look at this Vatican situation. Look at this Pope situation. Look at these papal bulls, Pope Nicholas V situations. To do what? Invade, search out, seek out, vanquish the Nagas, the Saracens, the darkies, wherever we go. Specifically in these Indias, though. Specifically in these Indias, though. In India Superior, though. La Florida. I'm talking China, man. I'm talking China, man. I'm talking Mexico, man. I'm talking Tangu. Tangu, you know where the Mongols were rocking, where Genghis Khan and them were rocking. Tangu, you know what I'm talking about. Tangu, man. Come on, man. Everybody know Tangu. The failure of the envoys he had sent to Prester John to return had decided Genghis Khan that war with the Karyots was unavoidable. We're talking Prester John Genghis Khan war. And the master of the horde, once his mind was made up, had moved at once towards Tangu, following the northern edge of the sandy desert where his horses would find grazing. Genghis Khan had sent Chep Noyan to the well to find Berta and bring his gypsy girl to him. He trusts me, although I am a Karyot, because it is not fitting that I should command a Tuman in the coming battle between Prester John and Genghis Khan. I can see a little both of treachery and trickery, but if Genghis Khan is on the march, there is little time to learn the truth. Since you came nearly due south to the well, the Mongols must be near Tangu as we. If you are faithful to Genghis Temujin, you should ride to Tangu at once, my Naga. Where is Tangu? I said, my Naga. Tangut. Tangut. India Superior, La China, North America, huh? My Naga. Genghis Khan had decided that war with Karyots was unavoidable. Once his mind was made up, he had moved at once towards Tangu. Genghis Khan had moved towards Tangu, which must have been towards Prester John. Remember the map that we got with Prester John right here? So he's moving in. He's moving in. Did he come through the Straits of Anian? Which way did he go? We're just talking Tangu. We're just talking North America. Don't mind us. Oh, we got a lot of dropped. Yeah. I'm going to get that next time. I'm just talking time, Goo. All right, let's go, man. Let's take it like this. I mean, now that we can see clearly that they're slaying the dragon, creating the opposites called mercurial dragon or called Cadmus. We can see clearly that the alchemical serpent is the androgyny. This is especially true in representing androgyny, an image of the union of king and queen as a single androgynous god might also have both holding a serpent. So we know our framer and shaper are one, but we don't literally put our framer and shaper on one body, and create a hermaphrodite, right? We don't create an abomination. It's like, oh, well, we're going to create a hermaphrodite to show that this male and female energy are one. That's thought, duality, sickness. And you see it spread throughout our culture highly, more highly than ever right now, even in especially our hip hop culture, especially our black culture, highly right now, like a motherfucker, man. Ain't too many real ones left, y'all. Ain't too many real ones left, man. We're just talking the ruah. So now we can see clearly that the serpent is androgyny. The serpent is androgyny. I said Mercury sure done did a lot to hijack you. Who's really your adversary? Who's really the serpent? Who is androgyny? Because this is especially true in representing androgyny. Androgyny. Mercury. Mercury thus represents the false word of God made flesh. Sounds like Jesus, huh? Sounds like Jesus. Which ultimately is what all this is about, creating the image of the beast. So you got an image created in Genesis 1:26 flipped into the image of the beast. Let's go. Oh yeah, you got the fallen dragons, right? Let's go. So let's go. It says the fruit child is the fiery flying serpent, or Mercurius, the union of the two. So he's the child, right? Ah, man. He's the child of this sulfur and this salt. I'm not trying to meditate on the images, because I already know that, that's not for us to even meditate on. We're just overstating, what I'm saying, the frequency war, and clearly what we're up against. But yeah, he's the union of salt and sulfur. He's the child. He's the Christ. He's the anointed. Those giants would be equivalent to Mercury, sometimes called Hermes, the child. Uh-oh. In the alchemical Trinity. Uh-oh. He's the Christ. So he creates these religions, and he's the Christ in all of them. In Islam, he's Muhammad. In Christianity, he's the Zeus. He's Jesus. He's Jesus. He's Jesus. He's the trickster. Mercury's the trickster, right? Oh, come on, man. I can't make this shit up, man. I'm done. I'm out of here, man. Ain't the jackal the tempter? Who's the Satan? So he's known as the trickster, man. In Christianity, he's Jesus. He's Yahweh Shai. He's Yeshua HaMashiach. He's telling you, hey, look, I'm in Genesis 1:26. I'm in Genesis 3. Oh, Psalms 110. Oh, that's David, saying, the Creator says to my Lord Jesus, because I'm Jesus, right? I'm the trickster. I'm the Anubis. I'm the dog. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Mercury is known by many names depending on the pantheon. The Greek god Hermes, right? Hermaphrodite, son of Jupiter. They worship Jupiter because to them Jupiter is Jesus. Son of Jesus, son of Jupiter is Hermes. So either Mercury is Zeus or Mercury is the son of Zeus. Wow. Body bag, Danny. So who's Muhammad? Who's Mahomet or Baphomet? Why was he anointed to bring together these Ishmaelite tribes with all the other pagan Arab tribes around to form a super army to go against Hawa's children? To hijack the children of the commandments of Hawa. Their Mercury, their Muhammad is the son of Zeus. So if you're talking Mercury or Jupiter, Mercury's the son of Jupiter, who rules travels, right? I'm mooring over here. I want more land. Oh, literature, communication, and the cunning of thieves. Did they steal your land, my naga? The Roman god Mercurius. We're talking about Mercurius, who oversaw commerce and trade. I'm mooring over here. He has been known across cultures as the messenger. The messenger. Oh, the messenger, my brother. The messenger told us, brother. What that sound like? Islam, Islam. The messenger. Oh yeah, the messenger speaks. The messenger. All Atlantis hijack. What messenger of the gods? Just like you call God, God. You know what I'm saying? They're same Allah. It's still a generalization of just a general God. It's not a specific name. They would tell you Allah is not a name of the creator. It's what they call the creator as a generalization, as whatever meaning they want to connect to, but they know it's not the name. So why not teach them the name? Why can't you call them the name? Why is it still generalized? Why is it just a messenger? Because you're talking about Hermes, Mercury, a wise trickster. The trickster aspect of Mercury is a very sacred humor. Like other trickster gods, Mercury reminds us that just as when we think we have defined the sacred, we are further away. Just when you think you hijack free, oh boy, there's more hijack. We're just talking about the trickster, the wise trickster. Androgyny, the serpent, the trickster, the serpent. Androgyny, the trickster, the serpent. The male and female Bahamut. Talking about the wise trickster, Mercury. The Trinity, the child, Hermes is the child. Whose child? Jupiter's child. Zeus's child. Code word what? We just talking salt and sulfur? We just talking salt and sulfur? Sulfur rained down from heaven like fallen sons of God mingled with daughters of men. Genesis 19:24. Note that sulfur is yellow in its natural state. However, when combined with fire at high temperatures, it turns red, hence the red horse. Combined with fire and high temperatures, it turns red. Is this something? I watched this cartoon and I told you I'll be in my slippers at night watching cartoons. And this particular tribe knew that they were going to fight against dragons. So they created whatever magic that when the dragon fire hit them, it made them stronger. They were not only immune to the fire, but it made them stronger. Imagine if you could reverse the dragon fire. It sounds a lot like this sulfur situation. Because they did turn yellow and then red, you know. Note that sulfur is yellow in its natural state. However, when combined with fire, it turns red. Is this how they helped to defeat the dragons? With these sulfur, materials, situations, mixtures, the coming together of opposites. Salt is definitely a feminine principle, so sulfur would represent Jupiter. Now, who does the salt represent? Is it Venus? I mean, who are we talking about? Sulfur, red horse. And again to this vitriol. Now, remember that book, Behold a Pale Horse or something like that? Nobody really, knew what the pale horse was really talking about. Now we could get some drop that he's talking about the vitriol. Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper, right? Bill Cooper. Rest in power. Dropping that drop, man. Mercury is the black horse. Okay. Pre-prepared solution involving union, joining, synthesis, suggested as promoting as the ultimate answer to the problem. The ultimate answer to the problem. I'm belly flopping, man. Salt equals white horse equals a problem. It's introduced into the innocent beings of the nation or experiment. The white horse, right? Innocent. Man, it's deep, man. You're going to have to kick back on this one. We're just talking androgyny, which means we're talking Mercury. They keep bringing up this vitriol. And it appears to be this, 1/3 fallen angels. What's that? Huh? What's that? Third of the angel? Uh-huh. Almost sound like the dragon in Revelations when he swiped his tail or whatever, knocked a third of the angels out from underneath the firmament. You know what I mean? Sulfur, masculine. So if you're just talking the child, which is Mercury, then sulfur must be connected with Jupiter. If that's his daddy. You know what I mean? And there's more drop on this vitriol and a lot of this connection, man. Vitriol stands for viscera interior tier. I mean, you read, you know what I mean? I ain't even trying to read no spells on accident. But it stands for this union that creates Mercury, the Christ child, the anointed one, the superstar. And what's at the bottom of that potion burning up? The dragons. Now, doesn't it remind you of Michelle and Abednego and, Daniel and the dragons in there, man? So, how the garments were never even singed. Colorado Rocky Mountain High. I've seen it raining fire in the sky. Rain, fire, sky. What does it mean? Oh man, there's some stuff. Yeah, man. Sometimes you just got some stuff up on your laptop. Like a beast rising out the waters or sea of Mercury. But that Terminator artificial intelligent robot situation. Huh? Same thing. Here you say salt, feminine, sulfur, male, sons of God. Well, if the sulfur is Jupiter, and Jupiter is the son of Saturn, and that would be their god, Satan, perhaps. It says the salt could also be seen as the daughters of men. When the angels go into the daughters of men, so maybe the salt just represents the natural daughters, you know what I mean? So they had to mix the sulfur, the fallen ones, with the daughters of men to create the hybrid child, the union, men of renown, giants, which was, connected with these fallen dragons or this Mercury child. Okay. More specifically, Mercury will be the occult equivalent to the Rex Mundi or king of the world or even word made flesh. A future long-awaited Messiah figure that the entire world will worship one day. Wow. Wow. Like a beast rising out of the waters or sea of Mercury. Like a beast rising out of the waters or sea of Mercury. Which goes back to the alchemical talk, right? Because remember, with this serpent that we're talking, this androgyny, serpents represent everything from the monstrous snake to the cosmic serpent, the cosmic spirit. The supreme serpent brings everything to life, but also kills everything. Kills everything. Over there, they're just talking the water. The dragon, as a fabulous winged being, symbolizes philosophical renewal or the initial pulverizations. In other words, the image of the dragon or wyvern represents the divine, what they want to hijack as mercurial water and its tincturing power. And it goes deeper, with this mercurial tail eater, encircling serpent. In Coptic, Oro means king, and in Hebrew, Ob means serpent. Its end is also the beginning, endless, eating its tail. The end is the beginning. It's in a loop. It's in a loop. It's in a loop, man. These are the guardians of the underworld, man. You're talking the serpent, hermaphrodite, androgyny. The Mercury is the wise trickster. And now we're just talking the entire world will worship one day this Messiah figure, this word made flesh. I'm just talking Mercury. So in Christianity, you're awaiting their Messiah, right? You're awaiting Zeus's child, Mercury. In Islam, Muhammad, right? Mercury. That's their Messiah. So the entire world is now worshiping it like a beast rising out from the waters. The mark of the beast, they said, is 666. Well, maybe that's the mark of Mercury in that sense. You flip it, you have the 999. You're breaking through the barrier. Let's go. The fire element, sulfur. Now, is this the dragon fire, or is this another type of fire element to counter the dragon fire called sulfur? Salt, sulfur equals mercury. Or put it all together. We're just talking equations. But maybe this is too much, man, to understand right away. So I'll just leave you with a couple links on this Vitriol. Love to, Drop Nation dropping these great drops, man. We're talking the Philosopher's Stone, right? Philosophical Quicksilver. We're getting deep into alchemy. We didn't even try to. I'm just digging on throwing stones at idols. In chemistry, vitriol is iron or copper sulfate salts and their derivatives. So you got this iron situation. Stop, man. I'm just talking Jesus, right? I'm just talking Christ, the Messiah, right? I'm just talking the Christ child, the child, right? The child called Mercury. That epitomizes the spirit and imagination and moral judgment and higher mental faculties. Because eating the dragon, slaying the dragon, sure does make you smarter. Remember the Moors in Western Europe eating your dragon, get that drop. Eating your dragon to get, to renew their age against accidents of old age. And they got, much more intelligence, higher mental faculty. It's not Mercury doing this. It's how he's tapping in to the dragon. It's how he's slaying the dragon that's giving the power to the hijack. How is he slaying the dragon? By creating opposites. And now we're connected to opposite frequencies. And he got us worshiping opposite realities, opposite energies with this Jesus and Muhammad situation especially. And we're slaying all hijacks here in Drop Nation. And if you ain't rocking in the wave, then it's get down and lay down. Get with it or get left on. Because he ain't epitomizing our spirit, is he? Nah. Because our spirit, the dragon, is unlike ordinary Mercury. Our spirit, our living spirit can be extracted right from the elements, the fire, the water, the ether, the earth. The living spirit, the ruach, is extracted from the dragon. I'm just talking Platonic solids, love to the Templar. And in this dragon, it is the vessel in which the spirit, the Ruach, is contained. Some alchemical texts mention the process to identify this Ruach, spirit, or soul of all things. The dragon is primordial, is prepared from the philosopher's venom. It is prepared from the philosopher's venom. In chemistry, vitriol is iron or copper sulfate salts and the derivatives sulfuric acids. The name comes from the Latin for glassy, after the resemblance of iron, sulfur, to shards of green glass. So when you look at this, it reminds you of the emerald tablets, right? This is sulfur iron sulfate. Love to natural, man. He's digging on his sulfur sulfuric situation, just like, look, it's being connected in real time is all we saying. Vitriol, alchemy to the gut bone. This green glass looks like that kryptonite. That's that kryptonite though, man. You take the power from the supernovas, the real supernovas, not the phantoms and the reflections. Vitriol symbolized alchemically as the green lion, man. So you got the green dragon, free phoenix, they got the green lion, right? You got the McDonald's, they got the McDowell's. You know what I'm talking about? Special sauce, lettuce, cheese, but they don't put no sesame seeds on their buns. You know what I'm talking about? Phantoms, duplications. Oh, man. So you ain't talking emerald. You're really talking that green glass. It just is the color of emerald. It's the sulfate iron. Vitriol symbolized alchemically as the green lion, the poisonous substance. Poisonous. Is it the cadmus? Is it the cadmus? Come on, man. The dragon slayer, the cadmus? Are we talking about the mercurial dragon? Is the green lion the mercurial dragon? The cadmus embodies the fixing properties of sulfur. Embodies the fixing properties of sulfur to steal your spirit. They're extracting your living spirit. Embodies the principal, elements of sulfur, huh? I'm talking iron sulfate. Who's ruling with the sword? Who's ruling with the iron? Who's connected with the sulfur? A poisonous substance. Poisonous to who? Everything natural. The dragon. Sulfuric acid or oil of vitriol was used in the synthesis of the lapis philosophorum, the philosopher's stone. In the synthesis of this philosopher's stone, one unique property of sulfuric acid is the dissolution of metals, all except for gold. So it can't fuck with the gold. It can't mess with the gold, on which it has no effect. Interesting. Why is gold so important? Because the sulfur can't affect the gold. It's more than just, it's expensive. It's protection. It's shielding. Cities of gold. Cities of gold, man. to protect from what? Sulfuric acid, the sulfur weapons of Atlantis. Man. I'm just reading this for the first time, man. I'm losing my mind bone. Oh my gosh, man. It's crazy, man. And this is what it looked like. Sulfuric acid. We're talking the cadmium embodies the fixing properties of sulfur. This is how you slay the dragon. Kryptonite, man. Kryptonite, man. The green lion. The mercurial dragon. All right. You still got a fire burning? Okay. All right. Let's talk Hermes. Let's talk Hermes as it relates to Islam. Because you remember the question that got this all popped off? We was just digging in the Sefer HaMitzvot, digging on negative, positive commandments. Digging on that Maimonides, Anan ben David. Remember the question that popped up when we put in this phrase into Google? What did Sophia and Hans have to say? Meaning to throw stones at Merkulis. The only thing they responded with was, is Islam the ancient idolatry of Merkulis? And I said, we'll be back to investigate that. And now we back in a flash. Ahchwa. Who's throwing stones at a large stone? And is Islam the ancient idolatry of Merkulis? I mean, what does it mean to throw stones at idols? I mean, go get the Sefer HaMitzvot because we breaking it down. But let go. So that got this popping off. That got us looking at throwing stones at idols. Let's go. I'm just gonna, definitely get this drop with this Idris, right? Because that's, this other, type of, quality attribute, that's being put on Mercury, right? We got the Emerald Tablets of Thought that we dug on a couple times or a few. Thus, for Abizids and Alids, the writings of Hermes Trismegistus were considered sacred as an inheritance from the Al-Bat and the prophets. These writings were recorded by the Ikhwan al-Safa and subsequently translated from Arabic into Persian, Turkish, Hebrew, Russian, and English. In these writings, Hermes Trismegistus is identified as Idris, an ancient prophet and patriarch mentioned in the Quran. So Hermes pops up a couple times as a couple different incarnations, so to speak, right? They even say that he was identified with an Enoch. We say which Enoch because we know there's more than one. We know there's duality stuff. You can't fool us that good, but you are one wise trickster, Mercury. multiple Enochs. Oh boy. So let's get the good part. I just saw some drop pop up. I don't even know what I was hovering over. Definitely some drop though. Alright, so this Idris is one of the incarnations of Thoth or Mercury, Muhammad in the Islam Quran. Alright. Who Muslims believe was the second prophet after Adam. The second prophet for them after Adam was Thoth. Alright. Islamic tradition has unanimously identified Idris with the biblical Enoch, although many Muslim scholars of the classical and medieval periods also have held that Idris and Hermes. So let's start connecting. Idris is Hermes. Idris is Hermes. Idris is Enoch. Which one? Which one? Thoth. Oh, it's getting good to us. According to Arab genealogies. Oh, wait, let me go back. The infallible prophet who traveled to outer space from Egypt into heaven, whence he brought back a cache of objects from the Eden of Adam. Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. Ain't we just talking about serpents in the garden? It's getting too good to us, Mr. Androgyny. The cosmic serpent in the garden, huh? So he goes to the Garden of Adam and gets a bunch of stuff. Remember, this is the serpent that was probably cursed by the Creator to have to be swimming around on his belly. And what they say in Genesis 3, I'll put enmity between you and the seed of the woman. Pillar of salt. Seed of the woman. Would the seed of the woman be the daughters of man? Enmity between you and the seed of the woman. It says this Thoth, man, Hermes Trismegistus is regarded as a superhero in the occult world. This is that super naga. It's that super naga talk, man. This is their priest king. This is their prester John. You dig? So where's yours? Oh man, this dude is a superhero, man. Ain't Jesus a superhero? Ain't Muhammad a superhero? Child. Enmity between you and the seed of the woman. You and the salt itself. Okay. You dig on it. You dig on it. I don't want to give too much to these hijacks. Let's go. So he's identified as this Idris, which is also identified as Enoch, which is also identified or as a Enoch, who the Muslims believe was the second prophet after Adam. All right. This prophet, Mercury, this Thoth, right, traveled to outer space from Egypt and to heaven, brought back a gang of objects from Eden of Adam, serpent in the garden, and the black stone from where he landed on Earth in India. In India Superior? Or are we just talking India Superior? Serpent in the garden brings back some stuff. Brings back a black stone from that same Eden of America. We're talking Atlantis, right? Black stone. He brings back the black stone. Thoth brings back the black stone. Thoth brings the black stone. Mercury brings the black stone, which is why they're throwing stones at Mercury. Ping, pow, boom. I'm sure it gets deeper. You know it gets deeper. Wherever he got this black stone, whether it was from Eden or wherever he got the black stone, this cube, this Platonic solid. Remember the Platonic solids? That the cube represents the elements of earth. I want dominion over the earth, right? Over the souls of the earth. Cube. Let's hijack the Platonic solid representing the element of earth. Oh, Mercury, you are a wise trickster. That is for sure. Mr. Androgynous hijacks the elements of earth. The cosmic serpent now is bursting into consciousness because he's coming from a synthetic impersonal nature, bursting into consciousness by taking the living spirit, by bringing together of opposites. Mr. Androgyny. Let's go. A Lego. Okay. Good. Okay. So let's go. Let's get to the meat of things. All that just to get to the meat to make a great dismount in this particular aspect of the hijack slang throughout the investigation, seeking our creator. We are like Joshua in the Joshua flow, like Moshe, like Dawid in the David flow of slaying all hijacks. Let's go. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning in LA. It's about time for me to turn in, man. You know, rejuvenate. All right, where we at? Thoth was an engineer from the destroyed Atlantis and was an I didn't even see this, man. I was like, what's this? Oh, my bad. It's a body bag. We were just talking Yahweh Shai. We were just talking Yahweh Shai. Hold up, man. Hold that note. Just hold that note. It's Christianity, man. It's Christianity, man. All right, hold that note. Hold that note right there. This is okay. Try to knock our link away. All right, here we go. Where we at? So he goes to this Eden of Adam. He brings the black stone where he landed on Earth in India. We said which India, right? Okay. Let's read this part. According to ancient Arab genealogies, the Prophet Muhammad, right? Muhammad, who is also believed to have traveled to the heavens on the night of Isra and Miraj. Muhammad is a direct descendant of Hermes Trismegistus, according to Arab genealogies. Or, as the OASB say, Muhammad is an incarnation of Thoth. Like Thoth born in the Egypt, Thoth Moses, right? Titles, duplications, phantoms. You got a Thoth Moses, you got a Thoth Enoch. You got their own variations of priests, kings, and prophets, like Muhammad, who is a direct descendant of Thoth, of Mercury, of the trickster. So before you give your energy, your soul, your spirit, your living spirit away, before you start walking around a black stone, throwing stones at idols, know that there's a deception to get your energy, to get your ruach, to get your living spirit, man. Know that there is a deception to get your dragon, to slay your dragon, to extract the living spirit. Where the living spirit can be extracted. And that's exactly what this energy is doing. With the dog headedness and the long beak and so much more, slaying the living spirit from the so-called Negro, the child of Israel. And we stumbled on this. We're just talking Thoth. We know he's from Atlantis. We're talking the sons of Poseidon. We're talking the sons of Zeus. We're talking the whole hijack pantheon family, right? superheroes, all into Marvel comic books, right? Incarnation of who? Jesus. It's all the same. It's all the same. Whether we're talking Mercury as the son of Jupiter or what incarnation of what man in the flesh, it's all the same. There ain't no time. It's all the same. This Jesus represents Jupiter like any sun would. The same thought, the same sulfur, you know what I'm saying, still represents the same frequency, whether it's the son of Jupiter, Jesus, or an incarnation of Jesus. It's the same incarnation of Muhammad to hijack you into idols and idol worship, wood and stone, wood and stone. I'm talking about building wood and stone, right? Yeah, dig on this Edgar Casey, man. There's a lot of drop around there. Reading indicates that thought the Hermes was an incarnation of Jesus Christ. He built the Great Cheops Pyramid. Jesus said before Adam, I am. Are you contradicting him? I suspect Casey was thinking inside of Brian and Baltino. I'm not exactly sure if Casey's speculations are notable enough to warrant inclusion, but if so, that business ought to be clearer. Sorry for being too confrontational, antagonistic. I respect your beliefs, but I would like to invite you to discuss more, if you're willing, to the limits. To smear this, if it is voted not encyclopedia notable, I will comply and not push to have the list of reincarnations of JC on Wikipedia. Botano, the figure skater or character in South Park? Do you see the connection? Wow. When Brian Baltano built the pyramids, he beat up Kubla Khan. Ooh. Oh boy. Remember this Kubla Khan poem? They're leading us back to a Kubla Khan poem, man. I thought everyone knew. Man. I mean, the wave is real. You could just keep going. You could just keep going. Did you think you'd be led to a Kubla Khan poem? And we actually got a piece of this during our Preston John investigation. I'm going to leave this link up for you. All the phantom world so far. What phantom world, Kubla? So fair vanishes in 1,000 circlets spread, and each misshape the other. Stay a while, poor youth, whose scarcity darts lift up the eyes. The stream will soon renew its smoothness. Soon the visions will return and low, he says, and soon the fragments dim of lovely forms come trembling back, unite, and now once more the pool becomes a mirror. So what's all the connection between Genghis Khan, Kubla Khan? Were they two dealing with Thoth? Were they two dealing with Mercury? Why were they at war with Prester John? Who is Prester John? Remember the question. Is Islam the ancient idolatry of Mercury? What's this excellent new tune all about? Let's go. Who's the direct descendant of Mercury? We're just talking to Prophet Muhammad, right? Many of the scholars allege that he was the first to speak about this, and they call him thrice great Hermes. Since there was a span of 380 years between him and the life of Adam. Ahmad al-Buni considered himself a follower of the Hermetic teachings, and his contemporary Arabi mentions Hermes Trismegistus in his writing, the Futuhat al-Makkiyah, speaks of Hermes' travels to vast cities outside of Earth. Vast cities outside of Earth. We're not talking about a spinning ball. We're saying more land beyond the poles. Vast cities beyond what we know as Earth. The celestial is more land, possessing technologies far superior than others and meeting with the 12th Imam and ninth generation from the third Al-Husayn, the third Imam, referring to the masters of wisdom from the Emerald Tablet. So this is thrice wise Hermes Trismegistus. And it's saying he has a threefold origin. The first Hermes comparable to Thoth was a civilizing hero, an initiator into the mysteries of the divine sciences and wisdoms that animate the world, the carved principles of the sacred science and hieroglyph. The second Hermes in Babylon was an initiator of Pythagoras. Look at all these thoughts. Look at all these Hermes. And then you got the Muhammads, right? Then you got the JCs. The third Hermes was the first teacher of alchemy, a faceless prophet. Then he was a faceless prophet. Writes that Islam is pure glory. Hermes possesses no concrete or salient characteristics, differing in this regard from the most of the major figures of the Bible and the Quran. A common interpretation of this representation of Trismegistus as thrice great recalls the three characterizations of Idris, a messenger of God, prophet, and source of wisdom. What happened to our mama? You see how JC, see how Thoth steps on the toes of our framer, of our mother, who puts the ingredients together for us in the greater light. And as a king of the world order or sultanate. So we're fighting with the sultan. King David, Prester John's fighting against the sultan, against the Mohammedans, against these Ishmaelites and the Confederacy, Psalms 83, everybody. And you're just really just fighting against the armies of Thoth, man. Direct descendant of Hermes Trismegistus, Muhammad. Let's go. Is Islam the ancient idolatry of Mercury? Are they still throwing rocks at Mercury? We're digging on the Sefer HaMizwoah. We're digging on the Sanhedrin. We're digging on the deeper meanings behind worshiping these idols. For example, the first discussion And this is about the deity Merculis, the Roman god Mercurius or Mercury, whose representation was not a formal statue in a house of worship, but a simple pile of rocks. So his representation was not a statue. It was a simple pile of rocks built up out in the open air. So now you see them throwing stones at Mercury. I mean, look, man. They're still doing this today. Any questions? So to represent Mercury wasn't a statue, it was a pile of rocks, right? And what kind of stones would they throw? You know, one of the sisters said, you know, would it be precious stones? You know what I mean? Love to all the fam dropping comments for real. What kind of stones are they throwing? Let's go, man. Let's go. So Merkulis, Roman god Mercury, whose representation was not a formal statue in the house of worship, but a simple pile of rocks. A simple pile of rocks. Built in the open air. Built in the open air. In this case, even though there was no statue, nevertheless, the recognizable pile of rocks represents the deity. Even the method of worship was out of the ordinary, inasmuch as travelers would throw rocks on the pile and they would become part and parcel of the idolatrous representation themselves. So by throwing the rock, you become a part of it. That rock now binds you and connects you. Are they still throwing rocks at Mercury? Right? Hermaphrodite, Baphomet, Muhammad, Helio, or Helipolitanis. I mean, so many names. The deity was viewed by his worshippers as the protector of travelers, right? They're finding you. They want safe travel to find you. And traveling merchants, they want to sell you specifically, which is why the representation of the deity appeared most often as at crossroads. Oftentimes, the idol was not a full statue, but was just its head on a base. Worshipping consisted of throwing a stone or a pebble at the statue. And over time, a pile of rocks was formed that served as the deity itself. From the Mishnah, it appears that sometimes there was no idol at all, and the representation was simply a symbolic pile of stones, two stones side by side with a third placed on them. So would this be just the head? Oftentimes the idol was not a full statue, but just its head on a base. Yeah, man. Are they still throwing stones. And that's when we dug on this particular Sanhedrin copy. To get this, you're going to have to download it. I didn't put it on the site yet. I will put it on the website. I got it up here. I'll save it up here. But I'll leave this link, and you can download it from this link right here for now. So I'll leave this link. Download it if you want to copy it. We are on page 208 of the PDF, 219, or 208 of the document, 219 of the PDF. But I'm going to this one here. 212 of the document. 223 of the PDF. Is Islam the ancient idolatry of Merculis? And this is what they're asking right here, right? Is Islam the ancient idolatry of Merculis? So let's get it and let's dig on it for the dismount. Our Gemara discusses the idolatry of Merculis. Their god was represented by 3 stones. Now it says 2 side by side, 1 on top. So this one will be a little bit different, but I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for if you keep searching. Their god was represented by 3 stones, all right? Let's, focus on that. 3 stones, man. 3 stones. Let's go. Even though throwing a stone at the service of Merculis entailed throwing stones at the idol of 3 stones. Even though throwing a stone at something is typically an affront, since this is the way of service for Merculis, it is prohibited. There is no prohibition of performing other disgracing actions to the Merculis idol. Our current law distinguishes between Gentiles who worship idols and other Gentiles. We may not drink the wine of a non-Jew who does not worship idols, but we may derive benefit from it. If such a Gentile touches our wine, we may not drink it, but we may still derive benefit from it. All right, whatever those benefits are. A non-Jew who worships idols is treated more severely. We may not derive any benefit from wine of his or wine of ours that he touches. The Torah, all right, rules that Arabs are non-Jews who do not worship idols. Torah rules that Arabs are, or should maybe say, or non-Jews who do not worship idols may not drink their wine, but we may benefit from it. All right. Then there's the Taharas, Hamai, wonders about this law, the Ishmaelite religion, right? We're just talking to Ishmaelites, and I say, who are you, my brothers, my sisters that are rocking in these traditions? Are they your family traditions, or are you in the mind of a hijack? The Ishmaelite religion includes an obligation to travel to Mecca, right? We got family that go to Mecca, and what do? They throw stones at a large stone. To this day, they're throwing stones at the large cube, right? That represents the earth as a Platonic solid. Hijacking the principles of the living spirit, the Ruach, straight from the earth bone. But it's an obligation. If you are an Ishmaelite religion, if you are a true Muslim, right? If you're a true Muslim, you are obligated to travel to Mecca to do what? Throw stones at Mercury. Who found the black cube? Hermes Trismegistus is the prophet who brought back a cache of objects from Eden of Adam and the black stone, where he landed on Earth in India Superior. Yeah, they call it Morocco or Mexum. With permission of the Pharaoh of Egypt, they may travel Thoth, Spell Barrier, India Superior. Throwing rocks on the path. Throw stones at a large stone. This seems to be the idolatry of Merkulis. Now, let me back it up because we had mentioned iron a little earlier. It got me thinking. Let's see. The word made flesh, man. Oh, the representative of JC, the word made flesh. Christ child. Iron. Where did I see the iron drop? Yeah, I want to get into this revelation because, I saw this iron drop and we kept talking about who's getting the keys to the bottomless pit. This Apollyon, this Abaddon, this JC, this Zeus or son of Zeus. Either way. Man, woman, and child, right? Trinity. Who's the child? Who's the child? In the Egyptology, you got Horus, right? Yeah, I want to dig on Revelation. I'm looking for a drop. They were talking about the iron sulfate. Maybe that's in the other link here. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. The sulfate of iron. Yeah, we're talking about the kryptonite, right? And I said, who's ruling with the iron, man? Remember that? Remember that, man? Remember that breakdown with the woman and the dragon, right? Who's the woman, huh? We just talking the salt. Who's the real salt? Now this, Michael fights against the dragon, right? And all that happens. We got all that. Now this dragon was about to devour this hijack. I told you this is all flipped. Right now we're in the mind of a hijack for real, for real. So the dragon stood before the woman ready to be delivered to devour her child. Uh-oh. Do you see clearly? The dragon that thought the slain was ready to devour Mercury. Who's the child? Is it Jupiter? Is it the son of Jupiter, the child? I'm just saying. Who's the child? Mercury's. Who's the serpent? Androgyny. Got it. Got it. Androgyny. Mercury. Slaying the dragon. The dragon's ready to devour Mercury. Devour the child, but the child devours the dragon. Huh? And she brought forth a man child. Salt and sulfur represents the son of gods mingling with the daughters of men. Who's the child? Mercury would represent the child. The child. Mercury. The child. From what union? The child. Mercury represents the child. Revelations 12. And she brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with the rod of iron. Sulfate of iron. In chemistry, vitriol is iron or copper sulfate. Salts of the derivative sulfuric acid. The name comes from the Latin for glassy, after the resemblance of iron sulfate to shards of green glass. Now you know what it doesn't affect? All except for gold, on which it has no effect. So why did they find you around so much gold? What was the purpose of Hawa putting his children with all this sun and all this gold? To give you the shield against the iron, the sulfate, to shield you against the green lion, to shield you against the androgyny or the cadmus or the conscientio, because they're trying to slay your alchemical dragon with their mercurial dragon or green lion, sulfate of iron. This dragon was hijacked free, about to devour the child. We're just talking Jesus. We're just talking Jupiter. We're just talking Mercury. We're talking the man-child who later started to rule with a rod of iron. And the child was called unto God. Who's God? Who's the dog star? Who's his daddy? Is his daddy Jupiter? Is his daddy Saturn? It really doesn't matter at this point. Let them figure it out. But now they want to call the dragon, the devil, the Satan. Slow down. Mercury is a wise trickster. Who's the child in Revelations? Let's go. Is Islam the ancient idolatry of Merkulis? What does it mean to throw stones at Mercury? To build a simple pile of rocks built in the open air. And every throw, every stone that added up, they became a part of the idol. Now they're always with it. And today they throw stones at a large stone. Who? We just talking Islam. You just talking Muhammad. Remember, the Prophet Muhammad is a direct descendant of Mercury. Why are they throwing rocks at Mercury? Because Mercury got the black stone. The Kabba, right? Grand Mosque in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Dates back to the time of Adam and Eve. Thoth brought this black stone. Mercury brought the black stone from where he landed on Earth in India Superior. He brought the black stone from where he landed on Earth in India Superior. He brought the black stone from India Superior. From India Superior. From India Superior, where he landed. He brought this stone from America, man. Dropped it off in Saudi Arabia. He brought the black stone from where he landed on Earth in India Superior. We're just talking Islam. The Islamic religion, Ishmaelic religion, includes an obligation to travel to Mecca and throw stones at large stones. This seems to be the idolatry of Merkulis. Why are we allowed to benefit from their wine? Shouldn't the law mandate that we may not derive any benefit from their wine because they are idolaters? They are monotheists, but did incorporate practices from the pagan world. They give these practices new meaning. They give it a new meaning. If you ask them today, they'll say it's for something else. What do they say today? Why do you throw stones at a large stone? Why do Muslims throw pebbles at the devil statue during Hajj when idol worship has no relevance in Islam? They give new meanings today, right? This symbolizes Abraham's Bepah, throwing stones at Satan while he tried to dissuade Abraham from sacrificing his son. The ritual on stoning the pillars representing the devil is based on some hadith narrations about Prophet Abraham. According to these ahadith, the positions of the three pillars. Is it play, the positions of the three pillars? So there's different positions. Some say put two on the side, one on top. Some position them differently for some reason, whatever their reason is. The positions of the three pillars are supposed to be the places from where Satan tried to tempt and misguide Prophet Abraham 3 times into disobeying Allah. Oh, like he tried to tempt Adam and Eve, right? It goes back to Adam and Eve. If this goes back to Adam and Eve, right? If this black stone goes back to Adam and Eve, then is this the same serpent, right? Is this the same wise trickster? Is Mercury the same alchemical serpent that was in the garden, being the wise trickster? The dog plays the role, right? The dog, right? The child. Now they got what? Now they got your dragons. Who's the trickster? The dog plays the role. Swiper, no swiping. Who's the fox? Why is there a dog right here, man? In front of the Sphinx to let you know the truth of what that is. So this thing goes back to Adam and Eve. Who's the serpent in the garden, man? Who's the serpent in the garden? Who's the wise trickster in the garden? The dog plays the role of the trickster, slaying the alchemical dragon. So they're giving different meanings today, right? Today, they give different meanings. He writes that in the past there were 3 idolatries in the areas of Arabia, Mecca, Blackstone, throwing rocks, stones at Mercury in Arabia. Kimash, Kumash. Sounds like the Moabite situation, the Moor situation. Baal Pure and Merkulis. These were the 3 gods. These are the gods of Hijack City. These are the gods of Psalm Confederacy 83. That sounds like a Trinity right there, right? Is one the father? Is one the mama? Is one the child? The followers of Muhammad, Baphomet, accepting the true understanding of one God. They are monotheists, did incorporate practices of the pagan world. They give these practices new meaning. What new meaning are they giving now? Oh, well, you know, These positions of the three pillars are supposed to be the places where Satan tried to tempt our prophet Abraham. Man, let's go. Throwing stones at Merculis in the Sanhedrin 60. In today's Sanhedrin 60 in the Mishnah, we see kissing and hugging as a form of idol worshiping. Don't they kiss this stone? Don't they hug on this stone and throw stones at it? And throwing stones at Mercury as a form of idol worship. They're doing ancient practicings of worshiping this idol, Merkulis. See how he starts to hijack the mark. He wants to be his own mark. He wants to be his own. He wants to be his own Jesus. He wants to be his own Makir, right? So they hug the stone today. They kiss the stone. They throw little stones at it. One is surprised by Sadducee sages who represent this as a referring to the future. They said that the sanctuary is Mecca, around which the Ishmaelites circle the Kabba stone, right? They circle it and they put aside the daily sacrifice, the 5 prayers, the salat, and they set up the abomination, idolatry. And there are the mistaken, as it is may be, the Mikdash, something like that. Sanctuary refers to Jerusalem alone. As it may be, that sanctuary refers to Jerusalem alone. Hijack city. They gotta extract your living spirit, man. It's all about you. The dragon. Thus it is that in this Ishmaelite language, its name is house or Kabba. So the Kabba refers to the house. This is the house that they circle, set up their abomination, their idolatry. Thus it is that this Ishmaelite language, its name is House Kabba, and how it is that Mecca is sacred. Don't those blind ones open their eyes and see that in Mecca there is an abomination to this day? In Mecca, in this Kabba, in the house. What's inside this box, man? What intention are they putting on this Platonic solid? What intention are they putting on the element of earth in the hexahedron that they're circling? Don't they see, if they open their eyes, there is an abomination to this day? To this day? It is not Mercury around which all the Ishmaelites from east to west circle to throw stones? Or, excuse me, is it not Mercury around which all the Arabs, all the Moors, all the Ishmaelites, all the Muslims from east to west circle to throw stones? And these interpreters have desecrated this sanctuary. Oh, they want to say it's stoning the devil. We were just talking about the devil statue. Why they throwing pebbles at the devil statue? It's part of the annual Islamic Hajj pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia. During this ritual, Muslim pilgrims throw pebbles at 3 walls called Jamarat in the city of Mina, just east of Mecca. It is one of a series of ritual idolatry that must be performed. It's an obligation to serve Thoth, Mercury. Wake up out of her, out of Babylon. Because Thoth represents the god of Babylon too. Get out of her. It is a symbolic reenactment of Abraham's Hajj, where he stoned 3 pillars representing the temptation to disobey God and preserve Ishmael. Remember, they're making up new meanings. New meanings. So I'm giving you examples of some of the new meanings. They give these practices new meanings. The throwing of stone in Mecca originated with the throwing of stones at Mercury. Now it's some other thing about Abraham. Now it's about Abraham. It's not about Abraham. It's about Mercury. What's inside the box? The Arabs did not intend to practice idolatry when they throw stones. Their motivation is to stone the devil. So they now have a new meaning. To them, they're stoning the devil. In reality, they're throwing stones at Mercury. They're being taught that they're stoning the devil. So again, I'm not over here to make nobody feel bad. I'm just letting you know you're being taught lies. You're inheriting lies, and you're being tricked by a very wise trickster that you're throwing stones at Mercury, who is the wise trickster. And you're being taught that this is a symbolic reenactment of Abraham's Hajj, where he stoned 3 pillars, 3 pillars, 3 pillars. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Got it. Got it. Where he stoned 3 pillars representing the temptation to disobey God and preserve Ishmael. One could also add the kissing worship of the black stone. They're kissing this thing. Muslim pilgrims circle the Kabba as part of the Tawaf ritual during the Hajj, and many try to stop and kiss the black stone, emulating the kiss that Islamic tradition records that it received from Muhammad. New meanings. They give these practices new meanings. So we know the throwing of stones originated with the throwing of stones at Mercury, not this Abraham situation. And then kissing it is what they've been doing, right? It's part of how they rock. We was talking about the kissing and the hugging. This symbolizes Abraham's throwing stones at Satan. So to them, he really believes, and he was brought up this way. It is what it is, right? He really believes that it's all about throwing stones at Satan, not throwing stones at Mercury. To dissuade Abraham. It's all about Abraham, not about, literally Mercury. They're not even thinking Mercury. They don't know what thought is sometimes, you know what I'm saying? This is recon about these 3 pillars that they might be seeing for the first time. So be patient with yourselves. It's okay to empty your cup sometimes, man. Can't be afraid to empty your cup. And further, it was a pagan god. The answer is not Mercury because his fathers knew him, and the men of Mecca did not turn to obedience to him till he swore to them that he would put aside the service to Mercury. And there is no need to expand. Is it not Mercury around which all Ishmaelites from east to west throw a circle to throw stones? Oh, here we go. We see the kissing and hugging as a form of idol worship and throwing stones at Mercury as a form of idol worship. Bang. And today they do what? They give the practices new meanings. Oh, we're just throwing stones at the devil because of the temptation of Abraham and yada, yada, yada. And there's some more drop that we'll get another time, possibly. They can go on. Do Arabs need bris milah? But in this, it goes, to some of that drop as well. Throwing stones, man. Kissing and hugging in the form of idol worship and throwing stones at Mercury as a form of idol worship. Muslims, pilgrims circle the Kabba as part of this ritual during Hajj, and many try to stop and kiss the black stone, emulating what the kiss that Islamic tradition records that it received from Muhammad. So now it's Muhammad's kiss. But remember, man, Muhammad is a direct descendant of Mercury. So it's still Mercury's kiss, right? Last one we dig on is this for the dismount. Who is Allah? Uh-oh. Great link. Definitely a lot for you to recon, period. Muslims bow in prayer toward Mecca, toward Mercury. Yeah, I'm just belly flopping in this joint. Haven't had time to really dig on it. Yeah, man. Historians say that Muhammad, who is a traveler trader, a traveling trader, a traveling trader, Roman god Merculis, who oversaw commerce and trade, Mercury. Come on, man. Hey, this Muhammad has all the imprints of Mercury, man. Hey, y'all gotta come up out of her, my brothers, my sisters. We just letting you know that the trickster is real. The wise trickster is real, man. Son of Jupiter, huh? Overseas travels and trade. Muhammad is a traveling trader. was exposed to Judaism and Christianity during his visit to different parts of the Middle East, tried to mimic those monolithic faiths. He studied the Hebrew faith, the Hebrew culture, created dualities, and this, the rest is history, right? Let's back it up. So this whole Arabia situation, this whole area, man, was like headquarters, secondary headquarters. And then you got the Egypt situation, another headquarters. Inquiring minds want to know if the bishop really thinks the names God and Allah are interchangeable. Why doesn't he ask Muslims to start calling Allah Yahweh, the biblical name for God, right? If Hawa has a name, whether they call it Yahweh or Haya or Yahuwah or Hawa or Haya, that's an attempt to try to capture the essence, the sound, the frequency of Hawa. Why? So why are you calling him Allah or God, right? If God and Allah are interchangeable. If God has a name, why is he still Allah? We're just asking the right questions. It does not follow that Christians, Jews, and Muslims pray to the same God. Yeah, that's what we've been saying. But in religion, they say, oh, it's all the same God. Oh, Allah is the Christian God, is the Jewish God. And you know what? In their duality, they're right. In these religions, they're all the same God. We're just talking Thoth. Hermes Trismegistus, the trickster, the wise trickster. To the Hebrews outside of the illusion of religion, connected with their great source, their frame and their shaper, it's not the same energy as what the Muslims pray to, as what the Jewish pray to, or what the Christian prays to. It's not the same energy. Hermes Thoth was an engineer from the destroyed Atlantis and was an incarnation of Isus. We're just surfing away, man. We're digging on the slaying of the living spirit, the living Ruach. Not their Holy Spirit. I'm talking about the original Ruach that was extracted, the vessel that contains the spirit, the dragon. Who slayed the dragon? The child? What child? What child? Salt, sulfur, mercury, vitriol. I mean, what does it all mean? And who rules with iron? Who is ruling with iron, man? We're just talking the child. We're just talking the man child who was to rule all nations with the rod of iron. So this dragon that stood before the woman ready to devour this child was hijacked free, because this child was ruling with iron at the end. When it's all said and done, this child was ruling with the cadmus, with the mercurial. with the green glass, so-called emerald, the green lion, so-called the mercurial dragon. And look how he's eating the sun, man. Oh, man, it looks like he's just taking a bite out the sun, huh? Wow. You know they can't handle the sun too well. So was he creating the opposites that can't handle the sun, in which the sun itself murders back? Who's rocking with his sulfate? Who's rocking with the iron? And who is slaying the dragon? Shalom to the home team. We're just asking the right questions. In the Sanhedrin, is Islam the ancient idolatry of Merkulis? You decide, you dig on it, and continue to surf the wave. All praise our Creator for the breath of security and the 360 dragonfly perspective. Shalom to the real ones. Ahchwa to the home team. Thawada.